Righto guys, we're back. Long time no see. Unfortunately, I've been pretty busy of late and haven't had much of an opportunity to sort of get any videos together or film anything. But today, as you can see, I'm in the garage and I'm going to do a little bit of a long overdue video, one I've been meaning to do for quite some time. And that's basically just a breakdown of all of my moto camping gear, the stuff that I go camping, my tent, stuff that I sleep in, all my sleep system and stuff like that. But I've got it all laid out, so I'm going to get into it and break it all down for you in this video. Let's do it. Righto, so let's jump into it. First things first is my tent. The tent that I take with me, it is a freestanding dome style tent. It's a two-person tent and it's the Black Wolf Stealth Mesh. I've had it for a few years now, probably 3. It wasn't the first tent that I started off with, and I've had other tents in between it as well, but that is probably my favorite tent out of all of the ones that I have. You got really good head height, you can sit up in it and you can get changed and stuff like that. You have side access getting into it as well, which also makes it good when you're laying in your tent and you're looking out at the fire. You don't have to lay in and look out the end of it, or lay on your belly and look out the end of it like the hiking ones. So you can sort of just chill out, lay on your side. And because it has such a large opening as well, there's pretty good airflow in it. So that's got to be my favorite one. There's only one downside to it, and that is that tent poles go through sleeves, whereas my other hiking style, 1-person and 2-person hiking style ones, they have clips that go straight over the tent poles, which in turn kind of means more frustration setting up your tent, and it takes longer to set up and pack down than the other ones do. It takes probably twice the amount of time, but in my opinion, it is worth it. I really, really do rate that tent. Next up, we've got sleeping bags. So you can see 3 of them there. Obviously, don't take 3 of them at a time. It really depends on what time of the year I'm traveling. We've got a 0 degree, a 4 degree, and an 11 degree. I've taken that 0 degree one through like -2, -3 nights up through Barrington Tops. It was bloody cold and I did end up sleeping in like track pants and stuff inside it, but it was enough to get me through, I think, like 4 nights or however long I was there of moto camping. Then we've got the 4 degree. That's probably the best size I find for most of the year except for summer. It's not too big. It packs down pretty well and it provides enough warmth for any night stay that I end up having moto camping. And then the 11 degree one, that's basically just in case the weather through the summer, through the hotter months, in case the weather gets into the single digits at night, which is pretty unlikely. Depending where you are in the country, most of the time you're sort of above 10 degrees throughout the night. But if it does fall into the single digits for some reason, I can throw that over me or I can sort of crawl into it, and it does provide a little bit of comfort, a little bit of heat and stuff like that. But most of the time, I just end up sleeping on top of it. So I'll normally take one of those, obviously, with me, depending on the time of the year and the weather. Next up, we've got probably the most expensive thing in my kit. No, $3, and an Anko Kmart brand $3 pillow. This is just one of those blow up pillows that you blow into. I've had this for quite a few years as well. I think I've had it for maybe 3 years or something like that, maybe 4. You can blow this thing up in 2 full breaths and it's good to go. I just put a t-shirt over it, that like a clean t-shirt that I'm carrying with me as a pillowcase, and it sort of stops it from squeaking around and slipping on my sleeping bag or my sleeping pad a little bit. But $3 came up, honestly, can't complain. Next up, we've actually got my sleeping pad or my sleeping pads. I've been through a couple of different ones. I've done the whole blow up mattress thing, like the similar style to these. This is the one that I'm currently using. It's Mountain Designs Airlight 6. I normally have it rolled up inside here. It's very thin, and when I lay it out and I roll up the tent, it all fits together super easy. But I wanted to obviously just show you guys what it sort of looked like. This is the one that I'm currently using. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a little bit thicker than the next one I'm about to show you, which for me personally is a good thing because I'm a side sleeper and I get sore shoulders if I sleep on my side too long on the other one. So that brings me to the other sleeping pad that I used this one for ages, and I don't get me wrong, it's a really good sleeping pad. It again, Mountain Designs. This is one of those ones where they call them self-inflating. You undo the valve and then obviously air goes into it. I always end up blowing a bit of air into it to make it a little bit harder so it doesn't squash down as easy. But I think these things are really, really good if you're not a side sleeper, which I think most people are anyway, but a side or a stomach sleeper. Um, like I said, I just started to get sore shoulders after a while of sleeping on these, and then you're putting in big days on the bike. You want to get decent rest, and I just felt like I wasn't sort of getting a proper night's rest, and I was just waking up tired, and then you got to get back on the bike tired. It's just kind of a little bit shit. But for an entry level sleeping pad, really hard to beat price wise. I think they're like $40 or something. This one is the Pro 2.5. A little bit bigger to pack up. It's a little bit heavier and a little less comfortable than that one. So, all right, next up, we've just got stuff that is kind of like essentials, things that I always take no matter what. This stuff will change from time to time, but these are the things that I'll always take with me generally with every single night of motor camping I do. First aid kit, non-negotiable. Cooking stove. I obviously like to have dinner like other people do. So I've got to take something to cook that with if I'm not cooking over a fire. And this is just a 360-degree stove. I've had this for like 4 years or something like that. And I mean, it's taken absolute pounding. I've fallen off on it heaps. I've bent them and then I've rebent them back into shape. All the saucepans and stuff like that. Little stove still going strong in there. Pretty hard to beat. And for the size of it, the weight of it, and then the price of it, it's pretty appealing to, moto campers and stuff like that. I think I ended up picking mine up for about $40 or something like that. So, yeah, really hard to beat. Obviously, something to eat with, spoon. I normally have like a spork or something that I take with me. If I know I'm going to be doing some open fire cooking, something where I'm going to be banging some snags on or a steak or, toasting some bread the next morning or something like that, I use the little trusty grill. You may have seen in the Coffs Harbour trip that I done with the boys, we cooked up some steaks and a few other bits and pieces on the open fire with this grill. This is just a $20 Amazon grill, and it's really easy to clean. It's actually quite light considering what it is, made out of steel and stuff like that. But it is the perfect size to take if you are one of those people that loves to cook on an open fire and you want like grilled type food. This is really hard to beat. Next up, we've just got a head torch. USB chargeable. There's no batteries, no AAAs or anything like that. So I can just sort of charge this off the bike as I go, which is kind of handy on those longer trips. If for some reason, your AAA battery head torch runs out, that won't happen with this, and you can just charge it. This here, Flex Tail Gear airbed pump. So this is like, I bought this ages ago and I think I paid $35 for it. I think the older one, the newer ones that you can buy now, I think they're still about $35, but they have like a torch in them and all this, that, and the other. And this one, honestly, it'll blow up that Airlight 6 in the space of like 30 seconds or something like that. It is really, really cool. And I very, very rarely charge it. It's USB chargeable as well. But honestly, I can't remember the last time I charged this, and it just keeps working and working and working. And, it's small, lightweight, and it means I don't have to, bust my guts out trying to blow up a mattress at the end of the day. Pocket knife. oldie but a goodie, just a browning pocket knife. I always take this with me, whether it's I'm just processing a little bit of kindling or something like that around the fire, or whether I, take it with me if I'm going to do a little bit of a hike or a trek off the bike, from camp or something like that. Always take a pocket knife with me. It's just handy to have, especially if you need to cut some paracord or something like that. And this one has the little hip hook on it too, the little clip there that I can just clip it onto my belt or just over my waistband if I need to. Just put it on there and go about whatever I'm doing. So always take a pocket knife. This is pretty straightforward. This one's just my little sanitary pack. It has toothpaste, hand sanitizer, wipes, toilet paper, floss, a bit of deodorant, just things like that, that I'll take with me to help clean my hands or whatever it might be. And obviously toilet paper, always take some spare toilet paper because you never know. So this one always obviously comes with me on each camp. This is the little tree saw that I got from Bunnings. I always take this with me. I even take it on day trips because there's been plenty of times where we've been out in the bush, we've come across fallen trees, and there hasn't actually been a decent track to get around. It's been easier to cut the tree and drag it out of the way than it is to cut a track around everything. So always take this with me, and I can use it to cut up firewood. That's normally what I end up using that for around campers. We'll load up the bikes, we'll cut up some firewood, and we'll load up the bikes and take it to camp. Paracord. This is, I don't often use this, but I like to take it for a clothesline anyway. If we're going for a swim or we get muddy or something like that and we want to wash our clothes off a little bit, I do like to sort of have this just in case I want to hang the clothes out and let them sort of dry out a little bit overnight, but I don't often use that. I just like to take it anyway. Now we've got two things that I very rarely take, but I still want. I'm putting him in the list in the camping stuff anyway because I do sometimes take them. The front here, I've got a 3 by 3 meter tarp. It is ridiculously waterproof. I think it has like 19 tie down points. It's fantastic for doing like A-frames, anything that you want to make like shelter wise. If it's absolutely belting down with rain, if I know that there's going to be terrible weather and we're going out anyway, I always take that one with me just in case we need to sort of put it up just to get a little bit of reprieve from massive downpours or long downpours. So we're not sort of like trenching around and just pissing down rain. So I've put that one on here. I don't take it every time, but I do still sometimes take it. Same thing with the camping chair. There's obviously got the camping chair on the end. I got to say, I'm not really a massive camping chair fan, and the only reason because of that is I just never find time to really sit on them. We normally end up getting into camp late. When I get there, even if I get there early, I've got stuff to do. Like, there's obviously the filming aspect of it, but you're getting firewood, you're setting up your tent, you're cooking dinner, you're exploring, you're having a look. You're not sort of just sit. I don't always just sit around the camp. I like to go and have a little bit of a look around and explore on foot. So I don't often use it. Even when I take it, I don't often use it. So I've just basically stopped taking it unless I know that the campsite that we're going to go to, I'm going to have a lot of time, a lot of downtime to just chill and take it all in. Then I'll take the chair, but it's not that often that I take it these days. And then the last thing that I always take with me on my motor camps is the tarp that all of this is laying on. This is a 1.4 by 1 meter tarp, 100% waterproof. It's just one of those cheap eBay buys that I got. I got two of them, and I think I gave one of them to my dad for his bike. But I've had this for ages. I just put it over like my tank and my dash at night, just in case it absolutely belts down. I've put it over my bike and frosts and stuff like that, just to sort of protect it a little bit from the elements. So I always take this with me. It's the perfect size. It folds up. it folds up smaller than this, so kind of really don't have any excuse to not take something like that. So I always make sure I include it in my moto camping stuff. I will just sort of say, obviously, I mean, not taken at the moment. This is kind of only taken this small one and stuff like that. And like I said, it's very seldom that I take that. But for the most part, and this will end up rolled up in there. For the most part, this is pretty much what you're looking at that I take. This is excluding food, obviously. This is excluding clothes and spare parts, tools, or anything that you take. This is just my moto camping stuff to sleep in, and the essentials that I take when I go on a night's moto camp. But anyway, guys, I hope you found this video a little bit interesting. It's always cool. I like watching other videos of people of what they take and to see how much they take. I feel like everything that I take moto camping wise, it isn't a massive amount. I've seen some people take ridiculous amounts of things. Yep, I'm looking at you GS riders, everyone out there taking the kitchen sink. And then you get the guy that's underprepared and really doesn't take as much as he should. So I feel like we've all been there at one stage. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe, all that rubbish, and we'll see you in the next one. We're going to get into it. I'm going to break it down for you, and haven't posted a video in a long time. Fucking such a long time. And I wonder why. And it's a little bit interesting. Oh, can I not fucking say that word? This is my tent here. My tent here. It is the tent that I'm currently using is the Black Wolf Stealth Mesh. Are you kidding? Mate, could you crunch any louder? This is it here. It is a... oh, dude. Killing me. This is what I'm hearing. Right next to my ear.